Hi there, Internet Associate. It's Anthony, and I'm about to react to another episode of Dexter. So, this is season 3, episode 4, All in the Family. And Dexter has always been a show that was really centralized on family. You know, what with us thinking about Dexter's relationship with his adopted father and his lack of a chance to have a relationship with his mother. But this season, especially, it's even more so because now we also have Dexter's relationship with his potential future child. So this episode being called All in the Family leads me to believe that, we're heading into that type of stuff even more. So no idea what to expect, of course, because this is Dexter after all. So far this season, Dexter's been kind of trying to rework his code and everything. And like I said last episode, I'm a little concerned about the direction he might be taking with the rework of the code, but I guess we'll see. I'm looking forward to it, so let's go ahead and get into this episode. This is Dexter, Season 3, Episode 4, All in the Family. Yeah, man. As always, Dexter does it again. This was a really good episode. I really like episodes that, and Dexter usually always does this. But, episodes that can find, not only just like a certain theme or message or whatnot, however you want to word it. Because obviously, Dexter always does that, and most TV shows aspire to do that. But I like it when they can also kind of tie it together with like a cool concept and whatnot, or recurring angle to look at it. Like how this thing did the whole kind of acting and playing a role thing and whatnot, and how that was like the metaphor the whole time that Dexter was sort of speaking through. I just felt like that was such a cool way to go about doing this one, and it was, I don't know, it was just very enjoyable. And I mentioned how with the title, the way that ties into it as well is just like, it's like even the title adds, I think I've said this before on some episodes of, I think it was Dexter, where I talked about how the title like added even more to my opinion of the episode. And I'm like, no, that was Lucifer where I said that. But yeah, I remember, like, in this case, the title adds even more to my opinion of the episode, just the way that they managed to make a title that had multiple meanings like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it just all comes together, and it just feels so well done and well written. And it feels like this is what you look at where you're like, how do you write a good episode of television and whatnot? Like, I don't know if it was predictable, and I know this isn't like the point at all. I don't know if it was predictable that that lady was the killer or not, but I still feel like I'm pretty like I was pretty smart for figuring it out. Like I feel like within like the first minute of seeing her, I was like, "Yep, she was the killer." But I was like, "That's probably a stupid theory," so I'm not gonna say it out loud. But I don't know. I feel like that was a cool little twist that they put in there. But what was really cool about it, and this is what I was saying earlier, like, the cases here are kind of in the background, but they're still an integral part of the episode, was how they took her situation and, Dexter learned from it and had a big kind of, revelation in a way from it at the end. And he talked about the role that she was playing and how she believed it deep down and all that stuff. And he actually took something from that. And he also took, what Miguel Prado said about leading with the heart and all that. And he took the mistakes that he made earlier in the episode, and he brought all that together, and it culminated in that scene that we got at the end there, where in a way Dexter did kind of the same thing he did at the beginning of the episode that seems wrong, and that he like kind of put Rita on the spot in front of their kids and everything. And that in the beginning of the episode that felt very kind of tasteless, and you're like, really, Dexter, why would you do that? Like, come on. But this time it felt so much more endearing, and so much more like real, because he was basically saying, like, I'm not just doing this because it makes sense, and I'm also not just doing this because I'm into you, Rita. Like, no, that's not all this is. I feel like I have a deep connection to this entire family here, and I think of us as a family. Like, we saw that last episode, and we saw that in how Dexter was so the lengths that he was willing to go to protect Aster and whatnot, and Cody, from that guy. And so it was cool to see in this episode him do that proposal that wasn't just a proposal to Rita. Like, it was literally a proposal to the entire family. those two kids, Rita's, Rita and Dexter's unborn child as of yet. Like it was, I don't know, it was just really kind of beautiful in a lot of ways. And then Rita responded and was like, "We will." Like, so, I mean, I don't know. She said, "We will marry you." So I just thought that was really cool how they went about doing that. And it didn't, like, that's the type of thing that could have very easily come across as like corny or cheesy. You know what I mean? But the way that the show executed it and the way that everything that has happened before now built up to this just made it feel, so captivating and well done. So I just thought that ending was really cool, and it really ties together the themes that were brought up in this episode so well. And also this episode, we talked about there was other oh yeah, well, okay, let's just run through it all real quick. Okay, so I'm scrubbing through. I see Angel, you know, Sergeant Batista. Like, man, that was tough, man. And that also kind of related to family, because he was talking about how, he lost his little girl. He, is divorced and all that. And so it's like, is this what, like, kind of a broken family, or a broken man, if you will, um, leads to, or whatnot? You know what I mean? Like, it's like Dexter is kind of in this upward mobility right now in terms of his family and everything. But we're kind of seeing the other side of Angel and the negative effects of kind of losing family, what that can have on you. Both of these are ways to show, I guess, how important family is. But that was really tough to see because, like I've always said, Angel's the heart of the show. I always want good for Angel. Don't want to see anything bad happen to him. So it was tough seeing him get caught in that situation. Yeah, I mean, it was irresponsible of him to be doing. Like I said, not necessarily because I think that should have been illegal or anything, but because since it is illegal and he is a sergeant, he has to hold himself to a certain standard when it comes to the law and everything. I mean, if he doesn't, that's, that it is what it is. But it's like, if you get caught, you get caught. So it's like, if he would have gotten in trouble, that unfortunately would have been like, it would have been understandable. I'm glad that the lady didn't get him in trouble, though. I'm really glad that she did it. And I think it would have still been unfair just from a moral standpoint if he was like, it's just messed up that could have actually led to him losing his job and going to jail and all this stuff, when it was literally just, like he says, he was just trying to cure that loneliness and whatnot. And he wasn't really harming anybody or anything, so, and it's all consensual and everything. So I don't know, man. It that would have been tough to see, and I hope that doesn't hurt Angel anymore. I hope that was just a one-time thing that might be a lesson for him to learn, about the responsibility that he does have in his role, and I hope that that'll just be it, because I don't want anything bad to happen to Angel, man. Like, at least not that lasts for more than an episode or two. I like it when he just immediately gets over the things. I'm like, yes, thank goodness, Angel's okay. Let's see what else happened this episode. We got Miguel, of course, and Ramon, another family. They're dealing with, the effects of losing their brother. And Miguel, he has that sense of closure now because he knows that the guy's dead, but Ramon still doesn't know that. And so this whole time we've kind of been watching Ramon's sort of downward spiral as well, and seeing, how obviously how much this is hurting him and everything. And it's another one of those cases of, like, I feel bad for Ramon. I want for him to get the closure that he needs. I don't even barely know this guy. He's not a really major character, but I feel bad for him. And I would like for him to get the closure that he needs. But that's a little counterproductive for what we need for Dexter. Because if he knows about what Dexter did to that guy, he's a loose cannon. That's going to be very volatile. We don't know what might come of that. So we don't want him to know in that sense, even though we do want him to have the closure. It's another one of those instances of it being very conflicting. So I don't know, man. It's tough. I just love the way that this show builds these conflicting scenarios together. Dev, this episode, we still got this whole thing with Quinn, and I guess that was Dev's main thing this episode, like her issues with Quinn and trying to decide if she wants to help Yuki, I think her name is, or whatnot. And she still wrote the report about everything that made it sound like Quinn did most of the work, which I guess you could say that showed integrity on Dev's part. I don't know, but I guess that was cool of her to do since it was his case and everything. or it was his find, or it was his whatever. It was his, he was the person that, I don't know. Whatever she said, I'm trying to use her words, but I forget what they were. So I get why she did that. But it's like I just really want to know what Quinn is doing. It was cool seeing Quinn, a different side of Quinn this episode, seeing how he's such a kind of a charmer and whatnot and everything. It also kind of went along with the theme of the episode, or the concept of the episode, of everybody sort of playing their part, playing their roles to the best that they can. It was like Quinn was definitely playing a role this episode. He was being the bad cop and everything. So that was like the role that he was playing. And so it definitely brings the question, what other roles is he playing? What did that lady mean when she said he thinks what's in his best interest? How can he manipulate people? I think she said something like that. So that definitely opens up a lot of questions there. I'm just really wanting to know a little bit more. Like, I just still feel like I don't know enough about Quinn yet to really have any real, like, I guess, I don't want to say judgment, but, idea of what I think about him or what he's doing, because I just don't know yet. So right now he's still just mysterious. I don't know if I like him or not. I don't know, because it's like, it just feels like there's too much there that we don't know yet. So yeah. So while it was very messed up of, Miguel Prado to say what he said to LaGuerta when he said it, I guess it felt like it did kind of ring a little true. Like, it is impossible to look at this whole situation of what LaGuerta's doing with Chicky Hines and not think about, Dokes and everything. That's not to say that I think that Chicky Hines, or Cheeky, however you say it, is actually guilty and LaGuerta's wrong here. But, the whole thing with Dokes may be influencing her to want to be even a little bit more passionate about making sure that, an innocent man isn't, convicted. So, and that's not to say that LaGuerta wouldn't always think that. Of course, she would always be passionate about that. But I'm just saying the Dokes thing might have a part in that as well. It's been interesting to see how LaGuerta has been handling this so far, because so far this season, it hasn't really been a thing that was much at the forefront. I feel like you could say that it's been under the surface a little bit. LaGuerta's actions and everything she's doing, like maybe how it's all been influenced by what happened to Dokes last season, but it hasn't been any type of plot of like, oh, LaGuerta is, trying to, figure out the truth, or she's trying to get revenge, or da 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 da, or anything like that. It seems like, at least for now, she's accepted that was the truth, but she is kind of like, maybe moving forward, she's like, I just want to be sure that, even though this might be true, it wasn't the Dokes that I knew. It wasn't the man that I knew. And so to her, that still means a lot, that she needs to be trying to make sure that innocent people are not being convicted. Even if Dokes is somehow guilty, still the Dokes that she knew was innocent. And that Dokes still had to go down for maybe what this other Dokes did. Obviously, it wasn't another Dokes. I'm just talking from maybe what LaGuerta's perspective could be. And not saying a literal other Dokes, if that's not obvious. I mean, like how people can have multiple dimensions to themselves. That's probably obvious. I don't know. I don't know why I felt the need to clarify that. But anyway, yeah, so that's been interesting to see. And I wonder if that's ever going to become a thing where LaGuerta tries to figure out the truth about what happened to Dokes. Or if she's just going to always believe that that's how it went down. I feel like maybe if some type of random evidence comes by at some point, that's going to reignite her flame. So I guess we'll just have to see if that ends up happening. I'm also interested to see if we see any change in Masuka now that he had that talk with Quinn. I doubt it's just going to all of a sudden next episode, Masuka's going to be a much more socially inept or socially adept person, I should say. But I do imagine maybe we're going to start to see some of that, internal conflict of Masuka being like, well, I want to act this way, but I need to act this way. So that'll be interesting to see, because so far Masuka has always kind of been that side character. And I think I might have once said that I wanted to see some stories about Masuka. So it would be cool to maybe see something like from a story plot line that was a little bit more Masuka's perspective. And he's like, I'm trying to get better, but I can't stop making jokes about vaginas or something like that. I don't know. But I guess we'll see. I would be interested in seeing that, though, and seeing if Masuka starts to grow as a character. Okay, I've tried to run through everything that happened on this episode. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anything. This was definitely a jam-packed episode. Every episode of Dexter is jam-packed. Like, the season's only like 12 episodes long, but man, do they manage to fit a lot in each of these episodes. Every single one. It's just full of stuff to talk about. So go ahead and, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about the episode. Like the video if you liked it. Yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube and it's just a review, you can go ahead and head over to Patreon if you're interested in seeing the full reaction. That'll be it for now, and I will see you all later. Thank you for watching.